Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and we're going back in time to 1982 to the third album by legendary Los Angeles punk band X, and it's called Under the Big Black Sun. And my goodness, look at this album cover. This has to be one of my favorite album covers of all time. It's just so beautiful to look at. But anyway, so thankfully also the music is really good. Although I do want to say very quickly that I have a kind of love-hate relationship with this band. And really all I mean by that is that the production quality is a little bit lo-fi for me. The songs are all terrific, but the production is just a little bit, I don't know if a good remaster would fix it, but I think you'll understand what I mean when I play some clips. But again, it's a great album and I do love it. And the sound is really interesting. It's basically like rockabilly punk. So it's like a 50s rock and roll style punk sound that they do. It's really unique and special. But anyway, so I'm very excited to talk about it. So let's jump right in with track 1, which is called The Hungry Wolf. Yeah, The Hungry Wolf has a really interesting sound to it with the guitar and the drums. I really like it. But it's kind of a confusing song, lyrically speaking. Like, what the heck are they even talking about? The only thing that I can think of really is you've got this guy and this girl who are together, who are kind of con artists, it seems like, possibly even drug addicts. They kind of feed off of the oblivious community around them, right? I mean, actually, a lot of this album has to do with people who are kind of living in down and out places. And even like the album cover, you've got this kind of like dark, depressing room. It's called Under the Big Black Sun. So what that kind of means to me is like everything just seems like doom and gloom to them. They don't have much to look forward to. And if you see on their table here, they've got cigarettes, they've got some whiskey or alcohol, So it sounds like these guys are just like total drug addicts and, just kind of sleazy like con artists, basically. So they're the hungry wolves, right? They always need to they need to get a score every day, so they roam the wild. They roam at daybreak, as he puts it. They try to figure out a hustle to stay alive and to get their fix. So that's what this song means to me, especially within the context of the rest of the album. So even though we haven't heard the rest of the songs, once you've heard the album, you can kind of think about this song in that kind of way. So that's how I've always thought about The Hungry Wolf. But again, it's just a really interesting sound. Although I will say that you can probably hear on this clip what I meant when I said that the production isn't like spectacular per se. Like, it sounds a little bit lo-fi on this song. But it's not too crazy. I still like it, but it is something I want to mention. But anyway, so yeah, enough about this song. Let's move on to track number 2, which is called Motel Room in My Bed.
I like coffee, and I like tea. I like a pretty boy, and he likes me. Put the doorknob on my side. It's a fucking in the Yorkie. I'm on the bed, sunny and fucking full. Hopefully not waking up so fitfully. Motels do that with rubber sheets, so I can't sleep. Instead of my sheets, I'm crying on my sheets. I'm bleeding on the sand.
I like the sound of the song quite a bit. And it's interesting because I like the way that she phrases the lyrics. You know, she says, I like coffee and I like tea. I like a pretty boy and he likes me. So the impression that I get about this person is she's kind of just bare bones. Like there's not much going on up here. She's just really simple and probably kind of boring. You know, just from the way she phrased those 2 sentences. And, you know, she also says, put the doorknob on my side. It's self-locking. Give me your key. So what that implies to me is that this woman has complete control over the relationship, right? You know, because as soon as the guy leaves the room, metaphorically, like he can't get back in unless she lets him. So she's kind of like a dominant person, you know, when it comes to this couple. So I don't know if this is the same couple from The Hungry Wolf, but I imagine it would be, you know. So that's how I kind of think about this song, is that you've got these 2 people living this simple, kind of boring life where they just like hustle every day to get, you know, drugs or whiskey or whatever. And that's just all they do. Like there's just nothing else going on, you know. And again, they're under the big black sun, and like the big black sun, what that means to me is they don't have much to look forward to. Like the sun is traditionally like a very hopeful thing. You know, sunlight is a very warm, fuzzy feeling, and the vitamin D that you get being out in the sun makes you feel good. But in their world, it's a black sun. So they don't get any of that. Like every day is just a depressing hustle, is what it sounds like. So I like these lyrics quite a bit. And again, the sound is really cool. But anyway, so that's all I want to say about this song. So let's move on to track 3, which is called Riding with Mary. Again, so this woman is just kind of like an awful person, right? Because not only is she controlling in this relationship, from what it sounds like, but she's cheating on this guy. And the guy knows that his woman has been cheating on him with the same person like over and over again. But it doesn't matter because, I don't know, I guess they make a good team as like con artists. It's a little confusing, but she says, well, the lyric says, you know, there's scars of a knife on his arm. So it sounds like there's been so many fights going on, but because their lives are so miserable and down and out, like this guy will take whatever he can get. So whatever he can get is a woman that's cheating on him constantly and just out in the open. You know, because there's like imagery in this song of them being in like a motel, right? And track 2 it's called Motel Room in My Bed. So again, this is probably the motel room that they're talking about. They're living in this depressing black sun-ish world, metaphorically. But yeah, he just like, he's got nothing going for himself. So like he'll take what he can get, and if all he can get is a horrible cheating woman, then, well, I guess he's got to live with it. So anyway, that's Riding with Mary. That's what it makes me think of anyway. So let's move on to track 4, which is called Come Back to Me.
Gifts and flowers lay upon the lid of pink silk above your face. Tears make a river of diamonds in the dark. Our daddy breaks down at the funeral. Lies and relations make an annoying sound. We sit and wander around the room. Ribbons are folded on the rose bouquet, and I hear a voice that sounds so much like yours. Please, please, come back to me. I cry and talk through the bathroom wall. Oh, please come back to me.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks, just sonically speaking. It's got this really interesting kind of like 50s-ish dancey thing going on, is what it makes me think of. But it's kind of a strange song thematically. Like, it doesn't seem to tie into the rest of the album, because it's about the band in the sense that one of the band members' sister was killed by a drunk driver going to one of their shows. And so this song is about, the couple going to the funeral and just experiencing all of this pain that the family's feeling. So it's kind of a random song, to be honest. I'm not sure how it ties into the theme of this album. Not that it necessarily needs to, but, it would have been nice. So I'm not really complaining necessarily, because again, it's a great sound. It's a great song. But anyway, there's not much else to say about it, to be honest. It's just a personal tragedy story that they're expressing through a song. So that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But anyway, so that's Come Back to Me. So let's move on to track 5, which is called Under the Big Black Sun, the name of the album. Let's check it out. Yeah, so this poor woman is just kind of awful. I mean, it sounds like she's drinking and smoking a lot, and she's touring the country with her band and just cheating on her husband the whole time. That's what it makes me think of. I could be wrong about that, but I do like what she says. She says adultery makes you give things away. It gets you confused, and that's a great line, in my opinion, because when you commit adultery, there's nothing that you really gain per se other than like momentary intimacy and happiness, but you are giving stuff away. Like it's not a fair exchange, because the other person, they get all the benefit, but you can only lose, right? Because you can get caught, and then you can ruin your marriage or whatever. You really don't gain anything, even though it seems like you're happy for a moment. Like you're losing a lot by committing adultery, especially mentally, right? You've got to deal with all the guilt and the shame associated with doing that kind of thing. So it's a pretty interesting song. Again, it's kind of like a rockabilly punk thing going on, and I like it quite a bit. But that's all I want to say about it. So let's move on to track number 6, which is called Because I Do. Yeah, oh my goodness. So I imagine this is the same woman, and again, she's drinking and smoking. She's not feeling too great. She says she's the marrying kind, the kind that says I do, but who's always searching for someone new. So like, she does not think very much of relationships, right? As far as she's concerned, that feeling, that like new feeling when you first love somebody, is just a very fleeting experience that'll eventually go away as far as she's concerned. But she wants to not be lonely. She wants some kind of family situation, I would imagine. That's why she says I do and settles down. But she's an adventurer. She likes excitement. She likes, other people. She probably would do well as a swinger. But I imagine her husband is not a swinger. So like on one hand, either she believes that when people are together long enough, they'll eventually fade away romantically. So she either believes that, and or she believes in being a free spirit, in being able to be intimate with as many people as she wants, right? So maybe she's kind of like, well, as I said, she's probably like kind of a free spirit. She wants to just love everybody. So we're not entirely sure which one she is. Maybe she's both. Who knows? But anyway, it's a really interesting song. I like it a lot. But that's all I want to say about it. So let's move on to track number 7, which is called Blue Spark. Yeah, my goodness, this woman is awful. you know. And so maybe it's the same couple from The Hungry Wolf in that like early on they were living this kind of like hustle life, but later on they got married because she wanted to settle down and reap the benefits of being married. But it sounds like she's just using this guy. Like she's probably benefiting from the joint financial situation, but at the same time, she's just like sneaking around and being constantly tempted by other people. Like she's just addicted to intimacy, is what it sounds like, and affection. She likes it when a new person that she doesn't know is into her. Like that completely gets her off, is what it sounds like. So this poor guy is waiting at the beach apartment, right, while she's out and about, being tempted by everybody. So yeah, this couple is not doing very well. But anyway, that's Blue Spark. It's another really cool sound. I like it. But let's move on to a kind of romantic, sad song called Dancing with Tears in My Eyes.
Dancing with tears in my eyes, 'cause the girl in my arms isn't you. Dancing with somebody new. When it's you, then my heart is falling through. I'm trying to smile once in a while, but I found it would do. Dancing with tears in my eyes, 'cause the girl in my arms isn't you.
Yeah, so out of context, this is a pretty romantic, cool song, if you just single it out. But like within the context of the story of this album, this guy just sounds like such a sucker. He sounds like an idiot. Like he hasn't learned anything. He knows that his wife is kind of a swinger. She's kind of flirty with everybody. She sleeps around on him. But this guy, for some reason, is totally in love with her, and we're not sure exactly why. Maybe he has really low self-esteem, and he's surprised that he found anyone in particular who liked him. So maybe he's had bad luck in relationships, and he's just kind of fixated on that. So this poor guy, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's struggling mentally with something. But he needs to get over this awful woman. He needs to be with this girl that he's dancing with, and he needs to just enjoy it and stop worrying about someone who doesn't deserve it. But anyway, so that's all I want to say about this song. It's another really cool sounding song. But let's move on to track number 10. We're going to skip number 9 because there's nothing of interest I wanted to really say. So let's move on to track 10, which is called How I Learned My Lesson.
I call you on the phone, but you tell me you're not home. Absence makes the heart go longer. So I never want to see you again. I'm working my kitchen carefully, but I'm keeping your dinner warm.
So this is interesting. So it appears that on our last track, they were still together, but this guy, I guess, was starting to act out a little bit by dancing with this girl. But he was dancing with this girl, and he was sad because he was thinking about his girlfriend who's like, sleeping around with other people. And so it sounds like he's acting out a little bit. He's kind of done with this whole thing. He really loves her, but at the same time, he's like, enough with her BS. I've had it up to here with her BS. So when she says on this song, I call you on the phone, but you say you're not home, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So it sounds like this woman is finally getting some repercussions to her actions. Because like previously our guy was like letting her do it, but also showing affection because he really wanted her to stop being so promiscuous and flirty and stuff. But now this guy has kind of manned up a little bit. You know, he's put his foot down. He's not showing her affection anymore. And so when she says absence makes the heart grow fonder, she's kind of realizing what she's losing by being such a swinger, by being so tempted all the time by everyone. So she's kind of frustrated, but she's learning her lesson, as the name of the song implies, right? She's learning her lesson, and this is how she learned her lesson, is, you know, the guy finally got wise to the whole situation and stopped giving when he wasn't receiving. So he was giving her love, but not receiving enough of it back. So good for our guy, right? He's finally not playing a victim. So anyway, that's all I want to say about this song. So let's move on to the last track of the album, which is called The Have-Nots. Yeah, so, okay, all right. Our guy, on a good note, has left this woman, is what it sounds like. But it sounds like he's at a point in his life where he's kind of older. He hasn't really moved up in his career. So he's like at the bottom of the ladder, socially speaking. And, you know, he says the bar, the first step on the ladder is getting higher and higher. So what I imagine is he might be referring to his prospects for meeting someone new and settling down, because he's probably like middle-aged at this point, right? And he's just kind of wrecked from this relationship, and he was already struggling, as we've mentioned, with some kind of issue that we're not sure about, because he was like putting this woman on a pedestal for so long, even though she was doing all these awful things, and he was allowing it to go on for so long. But now he's so old that it sounds like the thought of meeting someone new, you know, and settling down just seems impossible. So he's just kind of like drinking himself. He's drinking away his misery, is what it sounds like. So he's now just like a regular at the local bar, you know. So this poor guy, you know, this is not the best way to end his story, but I guess it's what happens to some people, you know. But yeah, that's Under the Big Black Sun. It's a very kind of sad world that we visit that I'm sure none of us ever want to visit again. But I like it a lot, you know. I like the sound of these songs. The rockabilly punk thing is pretty cool. Even though the production, as I mentioned, is like a little bit hit or miss sometimes. I think in general this is a really lovely album, you know. But that's all I want to say about it. So as always, feel free to comment. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you have interpretations I didn't consider? I'll check them out, whatever you have to say. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helped me out. But yeah, that's X. That's Under the Big Black Sun. Check it out and have a good one.